Hey everybody, it's been a long time, but I am back. It is Moose here. We're back with another interview. It's been quite a while, but I thought we'd come back with a bang and come back with a big comeback. And what not to come back with a big musical artist named DLG, my good friend DLG. He focuses a lot on rap, R&B, different types of forms of genres in the music industry. And I just want to say, DLG, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today.
Thank you for having me, man. This is awesome, bro.
No, of course, of course,
Um,
of course. For those who don't know DLG, DLG, would you like to introduce yourself to those who might not know much about you?
yeah, sure. So I'm DLG. You can call me Devin if you like, if that makes if that's more comfortable for you. Started making music when I was around 12, gave it up, picked it back up around 2019. Been hard at work since. I'm a typical guy, I guess, man. I like to see people smile, like to put that energy out there, like to make uh, a positive change in situations that I'm not really able to control. I guess you could say music is my outlet to have a little bit of control over my space, if you will.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you definitely captured that with a lot of your songs and your music. And on YouTube, speaking of on your channels, you on YouTube, you have about over 1K subscribers, and you also have a TikTok as well as Spotify. Spotify, I believe your latest song you dropped was, and if I'm correct with my notes, it was Wildfire, correct?
That is correct.
Perfect.
That's
Well,
awesome.
all right. Well, I was just gonna say, first of all, great song. And again, thank you for joining me. So I guess we'll want to get into,
Hmm.
because you were talking about a bit of it of DLG when you started around when you're 12, which leads me to my first question: is what inspired you to start DLG in the first place? You say you started at a young age, but was there an artist or certain genres of music that inspired the name and the brand of DLG, or like what was the mindset behind all that?
Um, Well, when I first got into music heavy, it was just, hey, I'm gonna grab a guitar and I'm gonna just start messing with it. It didn't sound good, wasn't in tune, wasn't. I had no idea what I was doing,
Mm-hmm.
but I was doing something that made me feel internally good.
Yeah.
So I did it. I gave it up, and around 2019, I was going through a lot. I lost a lot of good people that year, which 2019, 2020, that was a year that sucked for everybody. I get
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but in that, I kind of fell back on myself, really, man. Like, I felt I didn't have anybody. I felt I didn't have nowhere to go. I felt like I didn't have any way to get what I was feeling out, and it was in a dangerous place, man. Like, I I I desperately wanted to find a way to be able to cope with my surroundings, to be
Mm-hmm.
able to understand how I feel on a really deep basis.
Mm-hmm.
And in that I found music, man, and really from then on it just has kind of been like a takeoff point. And I could sit here and say oh yeah, I got the idea for DLG, based off of an anagram, like don't let go or don't lose grip. But
Mm-hmm.
to be real with you, man, it's just my initials. To be completely real with you,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I go back and I think about that all the time. Like, is my rap name good or something silly like that, bro? But truth is, my rap name basically signifies everything that I stand for as an artist, because it stands for just being you. I'm
Right.
just me. I'm
Right.
I'm I'm Devin. That's my initials, man.
Right. Yeah. And I guess knowing that from personally knowing you, it's like knowing that the name is not just an anagram. It is you. You're representing
Yeah,
yourself, like yourself from music, in music, and outside of that. And I think you definitely do.
exactly.
Definitely, you're not putting on, the name isn't a persona. It's you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you definitely do capture that within the lyricism of your music. and especially as well as the not just the lyrics, but your beats, your rhythm, your overall the type of genres of music that you integrate into that does speak to you, but also does you think would speak to who you are and would be able to speak on to show who you are as an artist and as a person. And I admire that, which
Totally,
yeah, which actually goes
totally,
into
man.
yeah, which actually goes into my the follow up question, which is a lot of your music, like I mentioned, you follow a little bit going into rap, sometimes bits of R&B, sometimes mixture of hip hop. But I was gonna say, so like I know from gathering that those are the kind of genres I've seen you do tackle so far. But is there any other types of genres that you feel like would connect to you as an artist, or other brand or other types of genres you would like to branch out and try, or maybe mix into the world you've already built around DLG?
I feel like I'm weird in a way and different from other artists in a sense that um, how my methods work is once I find an instrumental, or once an instrumental is presented to me either by a producer or by somebody that's sending in beats through my email, etc., I'll go through and basically I'll listen to that beat like 16, 17 times, trying to lay any kind of vibe on that track, if that makes sense. Trying to see what I can talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it gonna be an upbeat, just a classic hip hop rap,
Mm-hmm.
or am I gonna talk about something that happened when I was, 13? You know what? I
Excuse me.
I have to be able to feel whatever the instrumental is, and if I feel that, I'm able to go into like more of this and more of that. But truthfully, the way I do things, I feel like each time I make a new song, even if it's in the same genre,
Mm-hmm.
in the same space, I feel like it's always consistently different because it's always branching out into different vibes, man. It's always something different. So like
Mm-hmm.
if somebody doesn't like one track, they might find this other one that's more in tone to what they're going through and to
Right.
what they're feeling, and
Mm-hmm.
they might get inspired by that, man. And I feel like that's the entire reason people should be doing music or motivational speak like speaking, like any of that, man. Like you're doing it to inspire and to make change.
Right. Yeah, and I think definitely with like a lot of your songs focus a lot on the concepts or concepts of finding parts of yourself, the parts of yourself that you like connect with, or parts that like that speak to you, but also like your messaging of your songs and your lyrics, and even the inclusion of your instrumentals speak upon a mental and emotional note of like, hey, this is what I'm going through, and this is what I've been through, this is what I'm going through now, and maybe this can reach out to you and make you feel like you're speaking your truth of yourself, and you're also saying that within your music, but also like it sounds like you are also wanting your music not just to be able to tell your story, but maybe to connect to other people's stories, and like you said, to inspire and to be there for
Mm-hmm.
people musically. And I think that's really inspiring, man. Um,
Thank
th-
you, bro.
yeah, and so I guess that actually leads into, excuse me, kind of like a double back to back question. So,
I bet.
with
All right.
that being said about your music and how like how you're trying to use it to touch people and also touch through yourself and be able to express yourself, uh, you were saying about what made music and the medium of music to express your emotions and be able to express stories. What kind of other stories or types of using the medium of music, what kind of stories do you see yourself want to be able to tell, like through more of your life, or being able to connect more with people through music? And then going to that the secondary question, along with that, using collaborations to help and like help collaborate, like the rephrase, collaborations can also be used to help elevate that storytelling. So I guess my question is, how would you be able to use the medium of music to continue to tell more of those stories and those ideas and those concepts you have in your head to be able to get those out there? And on top of that, what kind of collaborations, what kind of, in terms of like maybe composers or other artists, are there ways you want to be able to utilize collaborations along to help you with that storytelling medium through music?
That's a really good question, man. As far as telling like what stories I want to tell, man, I'm just kind of doing uh I'm just kind of whatever gets thrown, like whatever idea gets thrown at me, whatever, if I'm just sitting here like, oh, that'd make a good idea, I'll put it in my notes. And the kind of person I am, I have hundreds of notes in my phone that are just, bars or ideas or theming or a story or an idea for a music video that then I turn into a song just based off the idea for the music video. Like it's always like something's always, the what would I say, the mouse wheel or the hamster wheel is always kind of going in my head, man. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of like to, whatever I'm feeling, man. Like as we get older, as we grow, as we go day to day, we learn, we encourage others to learn, and we become better people. And I just want to always be able to make music that just kind of keeps in tone with that.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, um, I'm dropping a mixtape soon. It's called Rags Through Trenches, and it's an emotional album. It's something different than I've really put out before.
Mm-hmm.
It's more raw. It's more emotional. It's me getting a lot of my internal discrepancies and feelings towards myself out in the open,
Mm-hmm.
and basically just to be able to make the statement that this is me. You know, there's toxic masculinity
Mm-hmm.
and all this is society has built up.
Mm-hmm.
It as a anybody, you're
Mm-hmm.
allowed to feel down. You're allowed to feel like not yourself, and you're allowed to feel like there's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But if if you just look for a moment, just a moment, there's so much to be grateful for that there's no way you can tell me that it's that you know what you're doing or what you're having to go through to be able to get to where you're going is not worth it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because I find life to be so beautiful in that fact that like we're all striving for something.
Mm-hmm.
It's different maybe, but we're all striving for something.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was beautiful. Beautifully said. Yeah, and I think that that's what a core part of what makes music so powerful is that you are opening yourself to the world and opening yourself not just to the world but to other artists, to other people. Like to you are essentially like airing out a lot of your personal shit out, and that doesn't not just take just like bravery or courage in there. It takes a lot of self-awareness and um a lot of self-reflection on how you want to be able to say that and be able to express that in a way that's meaningful, but also in a way that that still stays true to who you are without not because what I like about your music, Devin, is that your music does not sugarcoat shit. Like in terms of like, for example, one of my personal favorites that you've done of recently. I would have to say it would have to be like IDGAF. I don't give a fuck with Slurry
I don't
Angel.
know, yeah,
Yeah, that one was really
yeah.
good. And if you guys haven't checked that out, link to all this stuff will be in the description, but specifically that song will be in the description. So please check that one out. I highly recommend it. That one's super great. I think that one specifically just felt really raw. It felt really emotional, really
Yeah,
real personal. And not to
that
say your songs
that
haven't felt personal before, but
oh
that one
no, yeah,
specifically, I felt like when you said some of the lyrics in your in that song, like just they just stuck. Like I felt the words stick to me. It wasn't just like you were just repeating words that were written on paper. It was like you were saying the words, because you were speaking them from your heart, and it just I felt what you felt while listening to the song, and that's the kind of effect that I think what makes your music unique to you and unique to the genre is that you're one of many a few artists that when they speak their music, they're not just speaking music, they're speaking the truth. and I admire that,
Yeah.
truly. Um, and so I guess what actually leads into um, goes into, like, when when you were telling me about, about yourself, about music, and going into that, what would you tell yourself? Because you said you started young, and then you gave it up, and then you started again around 2019, around 2020. When you picked it back up, and now where you are now, going on to 2024, what would you tell yourself about the industry, or making music around the time you first started, and or when you picked back up? Would you say between the time then and now, of course you've grown, but what would you be able to tell yourself then when you picked it back up and when you first started, like, hey, this is stuff I wish I should have known then? And I guess, what was stuff would you be able to tell yourself if you could go back within the past couple of years, a few years? What would you be able to tell yourself and be like, hey, this is what I know now, and this is something I wish you wish you someone could have told you then. So I guess, what is stuff that you learned
Yeah.
along your journey of being a musician and an artist that you wish you could have known from the beginning? And I guess I asked that question for those who may be listening who want to start a music career. And what would you be able to tell yourself slash tell people that are just starting, and stuff that maybe you wanted to know then when you first started?
I feel like I would tell myself, I feel like the best advice I could personally give myself if I were to go back in the past would be to not really look for validation from
Mm-hmm.
anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Um, again, 2019. I'm not gonna get too into it, but there was somebody very special to me I had in my life, and then I lost them, and then it really hurt, bro. Like, we all go through that one heartbreak. You know what I mean? We all
Mm-hmm.
go through that one period of time where it feels like nothing's ever gonna get better, but obviously it does.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wish I could have told myself then to not look for validation from people,
Mm-hmm.
not to look for validation from other artists, not to look for validation through views and followers and comments and likes and shares. And I personally, um, I like to speak out against um, like the the cancer that is like social media. It's
Mm-hmm.
I have a social media presence.
Mm-hmm.
I have to have a social media presence.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't love you know all the bad that comes with it, but I love all the support that comes with it. But I know I have to take the bad and the good, which that goes back to validation.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if I was still the same young boy that I had been in 2019, dealing with all of his issues very unhealthily, I feel like I would be even worse looking for validation today.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a long talk with somebody, Young Delina, which is another artist. He is the manager of the label SOS Productions. That's the label that I'm under.
Mm-hmm.
We sat down and had a very long conversation about you know coming out of your shell
Mm-hmm.
and coming to terms with who you are, because nobody else is going to pave the way for you.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else is going to help you break out of that shell. They can only take you so far up the ladder before you got to climb yourself. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean?
Yeah, that's facts, bro. That's facts.
So,
Yeah.
like, in that, man, I wish I was didn't seek validation so much,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, I feel like even if I could go back, tell myself what to do differently,
Mm-hmm.
it would still play out the same way because
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn those mistakes. I
Mm-hmm.
had to, I had to fuck up. I had to make mistakes, and I had to learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
I had to be that bad person. I had to learn uh, that you can't be that way. I had to grow. I had to evolve, man. Like, that's why I see so many people being like torn down for like stuff they said in the past, or for like their beliefs. And it's like, man, why are we in a point of society where like we don't believe that somebody can change?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, obviously there's a point to where that flies out the window.
Yeah.
But it's just I can't see looking at someone and saying you are not able to change.
Right.
You are gonna be stuck where you are forever, and you're never gonna move.
Mm-hmm.
And that's scary, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a side note to add to what you just said, for those who don't know, I've been friends with Devin since DLG for a very long time, very long time, and we've been friends for a while, long time, and few years, and there's been when you what you just said made me think a lot about myself. There's moments I thought, at my point when when I was younger, that I wasn't get that I thought might not be able to change because of how I act or who I am, and then people like in my life, like yourself, make me realize that's something that's possible. And I know like throughout friendships and relationships there's ups and downs, but we all change throughout because of those. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
just before we get to the last question, to be a little sentimental here, that you have really taught me a lot through our friendship, that growing is essential and growing is huge and fundamental, not just for personal growth, but just growth around for people, those who you love and you care about. And I just want to say you represent that in your music, and you have represented that in our friendship. So I just really wanted to just highlight that and just say that, like, for
Well,
those who might not know, Devin slash DLG really sticks true to that. So you really
uh,
highlight that for sure within your music, and just as you as a person. And I just want to say that from where seeing where you've grown and where you're growing now is astounding, is astonishing, it's inspiring. And I just can't say to say I'm proud is an understatement. Is truly. So I'm just really
and
glad and proud of where you've gotten, man, like truly.
what's crazy,
Excuse-
I would not expect you to remember this, and I just now remembered it. I met you like 7 years ago today.
mm, wow, it was that.
As
Wow,
we're
today you're right, it
yeah,
was.
as we're recording this on Valentine's Day of what day is it?
uh February 14th.
Wednesday.
Or Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday.
Um, yeah, man. Without getting too into it, I had a medical scare, and was rushed into the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and I spent a good 3 4 weeks in the hospital, man, and that's when I was making friends on Facebook and shit like that, and that's where I met you, and I
Yeah.
just remembered that, and I like that this has come full circle,
Mm-hmm.
like we have come full circle in this, and that's really beautiful, man.
No, it is, and you're absolutely right. This is because I remember the message you sent. I remember when you sent me the message, and I was just like, yeah, and I knew of you, but it was just it's crazy that yeah, we're having an interview the first day we
And we
met.
didn't even
I didn't
plan
even
this
correlate
out,
that.
dude.
Wow, I do remember when you
Yeah,
first sent me
dude.
that message, though. Wow, well,
Yeah, that's crazy.
that is beautiful, man. Thank
We
you for
should.
pointing that out. That just made this whole thing much more beautiful. So,
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, though. Like I got little flutters in my stomach and whatnot.
wow, I can't. When you put it in that perspective,
Wow.
it's been like also past 7 years. Jeez, man. I
Yeah, dude. It's been a long time,
I,
bro.
I know, and I honestly am happy how where we are. We've had ups and
Yeah, dude.
downs like friendships do, but you're still one of the closest friends I have, man. And I honestly am glad to see where you, like I said, you've grown, just not as a person, of course, but just also just as an artist, as a creator. Seeing you do all the things you've done throughout the past 7 years has really now put me in perspective of like you really have like grown a lot. And I am proud to see where you are. Like now you're having like you're performing in another state, and performing in other states now, and I'm like, that's monumental. It's huge, and I'm just again proud of you, man. And so yeah, so I guess that actually leads me going on to the last question, which actually was originally the original question was reading off, and it's similar. It says, "What do you hope for music? What do you hope your music does in terms of having an impact on the industry, people, etc." But I also want to add to that question now That question's still the same. What do you hope your music does in terms of it having an impact on the industry and people? But I also want to know, on top of that, what do you hope your music does in terms of having an impact on you as an artist, as a creator, as a person? What do you want your music to have an impact on you in terms of helping you create more of that music, more of that outlet to be able to express yourself? Like, so in terms of also just you want your music to have an impact on the industry and people, how do you want your music to have an impact on yourself and as a personally and career wise?
Um, for in terms of it, reaching people, that's my main goal. Like, just to offer music that isn't stereotypical. Um, what should I say? That isn't something that you can't relate with.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something you can't get behind. It's not. It's something that you can listen to, and it's like, oh, it's really dope. But like, I don't relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope that with my music, the more I make, the more tracks I put out, the more of me that meshes with my music, one is gonna. I don't know. I'm so excited to see where the future,
Mm-hmm.
takes me, my music, my acquaintances' music. I hope, and I really, 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 really have been banking on that. Some somebody out there sees, listens, uh, reads my lyrics, and feels like for one moment, even if just in that moment alone, that they aren't alone,
Mm-hmm.
that they don't have to feel like they aren't, um, as if they are tarnished or gonna be doomed.
Right.
Because like I've been there, man. Like 2019, I got diagnosed with depression. They tried to put me on all kind of meds,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing was working, man. Shit was rough, and I felt there wasn't an out. I felt like there wasn't no way to cope with anything going around me. Everything felt hectic. Everything felt trivial. Everything felt like it didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, that's when music came into play, and really music was there for me when pretty much nobody else was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not me holding any disdain for anybody. I'm just saying music was the listener and the responder
Mm-hmm.
that I needed when I had no one, when
Right.
I had nothing.
Right.
And if not for music, I don't think I'd be here sitting here talking to you today. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the fact that music can do that is beautiful.
Absolutely.
What do I hope? What do I hope that it does for me personally? Um, it's never really been about like I don't like you mentioned I play shows. I'm doing my first out of state show Saturday the 17th. Um, um, I don't, but like even when I make these achievements, when I make these, like steps up, I don't even look at it as if like, oh, like I'm the shit.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it as, wow, I'm able to actually like. It's not hype. It's not people just pat me on the back and saying that that's good. Like that's uh that's progress. That's actual progress being shown because you know, I know a lot of artists who have never went on stage before
Mm-hmm.
and are 3 times the age that I am. And I did my first show at 19. Like that's something that I will always uh, really love and cherish
Mm-hmm.
is the fact that I've been able to already get myself out there as far as I have
Right.
so far.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that goes back to social media and like promoting and getting yourself out there and whatnot. And I never want to come off as the type of guy to bank on just like spam, spam, spam,
Right.
and
Mm-hmm.
like check this out, check this out, check this out. I never want to be the annoying guy who is so close-minded and egotistical that he doesn't realize that he's self-sabotaging his own image. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be that guy, man. I don't want to live that life again. I don't want to be that.
Right.
So like with music, I hope I am able to help other people, and I hope that I'm able to take something personally from my music as well that makes me into a better person than I am today and than I was tomorrow or yesterday.
No, I got you. But yeah, that's
I just want to do good, man.
yeah.
Literally, that's
Yeah, and I think you definitely do that with your music. I think like and I do agree with that, even though like I don't make a lot of music myself, I helped others make music. I produced some stuff myself for other people and a little bit for myself. I've been part of music and privately for like years. And I just want to say I do agree that music is super powerful. Music is a tool to not just be able, like I said, to express yourself, to express how you feel about life or a thing or a person or something, but it is you are showing a part of yourself to people. You are giving yourself, like showing yourself and giving yourself to people and being like, hey, this is me. This is who I am. This is who I believe. This is how I think. This is how I see things. And you feel that through your music. You feel that through music in general. But I definitely hear I don't like when I hear your music, I'm not just hearing songs and sounds, I'm hearing your voice, I'm hearing your thoughts, I'm hearing your emotions. It's like I get that part of you through music. And some I'm not saying music for everybody has to always be like that, but for what you're doing and with the accomplishment of what you think what your music is trying to do and is doing, I think you have been accomplishing that. And I think you have been very successful in my opinion. Not just saying that out of friend bias, just saying that out of just
oh yeah.
musically that you have been showing that and dedicating to that and really have been pushing that this is not just a name. This is me. And that says a lot in just you putting yourself out there. And like you said, you having your first show at 19, that's huge, that's big, that not a lot, some people can't do, some people can, and some people haven't done that yet, and that's still like in that, and the thing is that even if people have done it, it's special to you, and it's special to your career, to your music career, to your personal self. And you highlighting
Yeah.
that isn't like, it didn't come from, to me it came from a place of sincerity and excitement, not a place of, oh, this is my way to get to the top of the ladder. This is like your way of like, you're making your way to be able to tell more of who you are and express more who you are. And I think that that's what makes you, Devin, DLG, stand out in the music industry, in my opinion. So I think that, with that being said, I just gonna get say thank you again for coming on, and thank you for expressing more of yourself and sharing more what who you are, your side of music, your thought on music, your thought just in general. Like this has been really very palpable, very insightful, and just thank you again for being able to speak with me and be able to let people hear your story and hear what you have to say, Devin. Thank you.
Man, thank you so much for letting me be the first interview that the first person that you welcome back to your interviews, and let me be the first person to sit down and talk to you like this, man. It's been very informative, and I'm very thankful for your friendship and all the years that we've had together, man.
Of,
You've been one of the best friends I've ever had, and I appreciate you so much.
of course, man.
Um, if I can drop a small promo, if that's okay.
Yep, I was about to say this is now this is the part where you promote away, promote yourself. This is your spotlight now. I will shut up. This is your
Alrighty.
time. Go on
All
ahead.
right,
Go ahead and
sweet.
promote yourself.
This is my time to be egotistical. Sweet.
Okay, go on
Just
ahead.
kidding. I I'm dropping a music video Friday. It's for my song Apollo. I'm gonna be dropping the official music video that's edited by Young Delina, uh, directed by not directed, written by me. Help from a lot of my friends. All their stuff will be in the descriptions when that video drops. It's gonna be a premiere. catch me in the chat. We'll mess around. We'll talk. We'll go back and forth. If you're in the Tennessee area, Saturday, February 17th, um, there'll be links in the description. Hopefully, you can get some tickets. You should come by and check me out. I should know exactly where the venue is, but I don't. So, I will have that in the description.
Yeah, and I will also, for those who are watching on my channel, all links to DLG's social media pages, be able to get tickets if you are in the Tennessee area, which please go check them out. Please go see them if you're in the area, or even if you're close by, get a ticket. Go ahead and watch the music video that will be dropping this Friday. As of this recording, it has not, I have not gotten to that description part yet, but once it's there, the link to the description, the link will be in the description for the music video, will be there. And as well, when you check on Friday, the community tab, my community tab will have a link to the music video when it drops. So, yeah, so DLG, thanks again. And I want to thank everybody for listening and watching. If you're watching through YouTube, please check me out. It's glad to be back. I'm glad to be back in the interviewer's seat, interviewing such a lovely guest. And please check out DLG's social media pages, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, all of it will be in the description. Check him out, subscribe, follow him. Please listen to his music. And if you want to follow me, my social media links for X/Twitter, Instagram, and you can check out my YouTube. All that stuff will be in the description as well. And again, DLG, thank you so much for being a part of the show and being part of the episode back. And thanks again.
You almost said, yeah, I think you almost said, thanks for having me. I was going to say, you're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Of course. Well, again, and thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next interview. And peace out.